Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to TPL Live. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning, and today is our Tyrese Maxey season preview show. Before we get started, though, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Thank you, everybody, for watching and commenting. Let's get started. Joining us today is my man, Jason. You know him on Twitter, at JBlessNBA. What's up, Jason?
How you doing?
Doing well, man. Waking up.
Very exciting day. Very exciting player.
Yep.
To go through today.
Yep, absolutely. What's up, Tiago? You know Tiago on Twitter, at TScabia. How you doing, man?
Internet problems, man. You know how this goes. Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning live stream. It is what it is. Anyway, also before we get started,
timing, right?
Yep. Today we are going to be doing an Eagles versus Cardinals watch party starting at 3:30. Please be sure to make sure you check in, comment, and kind of join our Eagles therapy sessions, are essentially what those have become. But let's get rolling today. Quick plugs too. Go check out my NBA draft scouting report on Tyrese Maxey here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. I also made a preseason highlight reel of Tyrese Maxey of his 2 games. Go check that out. Like, comment. In that scouting report video, I raved about his athleticism and potential as a pick and roll weapon. But an area we're talking about now, Tyrese Maxey in 2019, 2020, and an area that just like popped out for me is just how active this guy plays on both ends of the court. Tyrese Maxey just played with this level of energy, and that's just something that was just oozing from the tape. He averaged also 4.5 boards and 3.3 assists per 36. This is a guy whose high activity level impacts the game in multiple ways. But for me, it's his defense. The defense was really, really impressive. He put up an incredible 0.26 points per possession, allowed in one-on-one situations, 97th percentile. When you look at the Sixers last year and their inability to defend the pick and roll, that's what we're talking about. He might be 6'3", but he's got nearly a 6'3" wingspan plus athleticism. I'll let Tiago finish the rest. But I also highly recommend watching all Sixers fans to watch the Tyrese Maxey versus Anthony Edwards game when Kentucky took on Georgia. That was a really, really fun battle you want to watch. So, Tiago, tell us a little bit about Tyrese Maxey's lone season at Kentucky.
Yeah, so along the lines of what you're saying, Chris, one of the things that really stood out when you watched him at Kentucky was really his ability to impact the game at all 3 levels. And I thought that, particular his scoring at the rim was something that was really impressive. He's a guy who's very confident in his dribble. He's quick. He has a very good first step. And he has very good balance around the rim. So he's able to take on contact, fight through contact and still finish at the basket. So when we start projecting about what we think Tyrese Maxey can be in the future, and specifically in the NBA, really is that ability to impact the game at all 3 levels. Now, the jump shot is something that he still have to work on, obviously, and we've seen very little of that in the first 2 preseason games. But overall, I think that, from the offensive part of it, there's a lot to like about Tyrese Maxey as potentially a guy who can develop as a secondary or tertiary scorer on a championship-type team.
What about you, Jason? Anything that stood out to you during his season at Kentucky?
No, not so much. I mean, I think you guys have covered him really well with his Kentucky days. So I don't have too much to add. What I've been interested mostly is his development from May until the draft and then this preseason.
I think the big takeaway with Tyrese Maxey was he was one of our top guys. Me, Tiago, and Austin ranked these guys, Sixers-wise. And Tyrese Maxey was clearly one of the better fits in this draft for the Philadelphia 76ers. And during that draft, when we were doing our NBA draft lottery show or watch party, that was one of the guys who were like, we couldn't believe he was falling. And also go check that out. We kind of reacted and graded the pick of Tyrese Maxey. So let's get into some areas that he needs to improve on. Clearly, Tiago, you nailed it. He needs to start. You start with outside shooting. He didn't shoot well from 3, 29.2%. And even worse than that in the catch and shoot. And even like weird numbers when he was not guarded in the catch and shoot. I don't know what the deal is with that. How Tyrese Maxey's shooting develops this season is really everything. From all reports, this is a guy who definitely projects better in the NBA. And then the good news is that Maxey was an excellent shooter at the free throw line. 83.3% at Kentucky last year, 120 attempts. And then going back to high school, this guy shot 82% on 646 attempts during his 4 years at South Garland High School. And for what it's worth, he shot 35% from three in high school in 613 attempts in high school. So to sum it up, I think it'll translate. What about you, Tiago? What are some areas that he needs to improve on?
So we started to see a little bit of some of the tendencies in these first two preseason games. Tyrese Maxey guys who play with just one speed and on one speed only, and it plays really well attacking down the hill. But in terms of operating the pick and roll, how that translates is sometimes he tends to get a little bit of tunnel vision and miss other passing outlets, particularly guys who are open in the corner or other guys who are cutting to the basket. So I think that Maxey's next step moving forward is kind of be able to slow the game down a little bit and kind of see the entire court when he's operating the pick and roll. I think that Doc has really enabled him to really handle the ball in that particular setting, and it's really showcased his athleticism. But he's going to find that it's going to be much harder to score at the rim against guys like, Rudy Gobert and Anthony Davis. So I look for Maxey to be a little bit more slow down a little bit his thought process and kind of have a more holistic approach in how he operates a general offense.
What about you, Jason?
Well, I like Maxey as a bit of an isolation option, and I think this team hasn't really had that. So where, he's a very downhill vertical player, and I think he's hard to guard. I think both teams, Indiana and Boston, have tried to press and trap him, and he's responded by attacking downhill, getting into the teeth of the defense. I think as we get into the regular season, you're going to see less of that as he proves he's a capable ball handler. So while he may not be an advanced pick and roll initiator right away, I think his ability to beat guys one-on-one off the dribble without a screen, I think is going to be valuable because you've got some guys that can hang out in the dunker spot as dump-off options. So, yes, the rim protectors are going to be better than he's faced in fourth quarter so far. He's got that floater game. I'm not worried about his shooting, quite frankly, at all. Chris, you mentioned his free throw percentages, and I look at his form, and I think he's going to be fine long term from three. And I love his shot selection so far. So I mean, he's 8 for 13 so far in the preseason, and it is preseason, but that's a lot better than some of the other shooting performances we saw last night from like Anthony Edwards or Lonzo Ball. Who Anthony Edwards went 5 for 15 last night. Lonzo Ball went 1 for 10. In similar fourth quarter type situations. So I don't know. I'm very encouraged by everything I see, and there's nothing about his body, his movement, or his form that makes me concerned about his shooting.
Right. Let's go on to our 2021 season expectations. Speaking strictly on the 2020-2021 season, I think Maxey's role moving forward is the true question mark, where we're going to see this guy play out. How he fits alongside Shake Milton is going to be super fun to watch this season. I think it's incredibly clear right now that both Shake and Tyrese Maxey look incredible with the ball in their hands. These are two guys that can get downhill and just they're relentless attackers. They can get into the paint. They can penetrate. And that is just going to be extremely exciting to watch compared to knowing how weak that bench was for the Sixers last season. And I personally just love the Shake and Maxey duo off the bench. It's their ability to play with and without the ball in their hands. I think the biggest takeaway this preseason by far is the fact that Shake and Maxey are both rotation players. And the question is how much Maxey will develop leading the pick and roll. That is the biggest question I have moving forward, because that is one of his biggest assets as a facilitator, as a secondary ball handler off the bench. And I'm really interested to see how Doc Rivers integrates and rotates Shake Milton on the ball and Tyrese Maxey on the ball. What's your thoughts on that, Thiago?
Yeah, so Brock put out some very interesting numbers yesterday from both Maxey and Shake Milton off the bench. So they've combined for 53 points on 20 for 35 shooting, and about 86% of their possessions have come off pick and rolls and screens. So you already start to see, that combination really work well off the bench for the Sixers. I came into the season not very optimistic in terms of Maxey as an on-ball weapon for the Sixers. I thought that he needed a lot of work in terms of feel and handling and the ball and understanding, orchestrating a general offense. But after 2 games, I'm much more bullish on his ability to impact the game offensively, and particularly attacking the offenses downhill. Now, if you think about, what a secondary lineup could look like, when perhaps Ben and Joel are off the bench, a little 5-10 minute runs here and there. Shake alone probably needs another ball handler next to him. And I think that second guy right now is Tyrese Maxey. I don't see anybody else on the bench that can provide that shot creation element outside of Shake and really give, Shake an alternative on those second units. So the more that Tyrese plays, the more excited I am about his potential to impact the game offensively in particular. And then defensively, he has work to do. You can really see, some footwork issues, some angle issues that he takes on defense. But when we watch guys like Seth Curry, just get kind of targeted off screens, and he's a guy with a lot of speed. He can really attach to guys defensively, and make sure that these dribble handoffs get blown up at that shot point. So I'm excited about him defensively as well. I do think he has more work to do on that end, but there's a venue for him to really start making an impact on both ends of the court with this Sixers team this year.
Right on. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I agree with the defensive upside. I watched him a lot off ball, and he's just got a balance. He's got a hop. He's got really good lateral movement. So I think as he starts to understand the pace of the NBA game, and it's a completely different level of ball handler and offensive weapons that he's trying to defend, as he adjusts to that, I think he's going to be a really good defender, actually. I think he's got a lot of upside as a defender. So I agree with Thiago. I was much more tempered in my optimism than most people on draft night. He did fall to 21, but as things start coming out, you understand maybe why that happened. And there's just the way his teammates are talking about him, the way that the veterans are talking about him, and the pressure that other teams try to apply to him, trial by fire, and the way that he responded to that is just, all of these signs are positive.
Yeah, to Jason's point, Dwight Howard, who's a veteran of God knows how many years, has raved about this guy. You rarely hear veterans talk about rookies in that type of format.
Yep.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Scott the other night, Friday after the game, and Mike had a nice game with Shake and with Tyrese, two nice games. So I asked him, I said, look, you're practicing with these guys. You're on the same 5-man team. Is this legit? Where do they have to grow? And he said, absolutely, it's legit. There's even things he did in the game that I haven't seen in practice, but these guys are legit. And those are the kind of things you want to hear from your 30-year-olds, right? You want to hear that about your 20-year-olds from your 30-year-olds.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do some quick over-unders. Again, 29% from 3 in college, 35% from 3 in high school, 32.5% his rookie season from 3. Thiago, over-under.
What was that number again, Chris? You said
32.5
from 3. I'm going to go under. I think he's going to be about 29-30% this year, mostly off the catch. Yep.
Jason, any thoughts?
I'm going to go over because I think he's going to be right in that 33 to 35 range. Because I think if Matisse Thybulle was near 36%, I know it's going to be different because Tyrese is going to have the ball in his hands a lot. But his form looks fine. So he's a rookie, but 33 would be about, if I had to guess, a percentage.
Let's go minutes per game. I will go, like you said, Jason. I was actually thinking initially, like maybe he goes to the Blue Coats to start the season, just work on slowing the game down, like you said, Tiago, as the primary ball handler in a pick and roll. But now, I mean, this guy looks like a surefire rotation player. So let's do over under on minutes per game. I will set it at 14.5. Tiago.
You put it right where I was thinking. I'm going to go a little bit over. I think he's going to play about 15 minutes a game. One of the trends about Doc so far that I've seen that I thought was really interesting and really cool is that he likes to double down on things that work. So a play here and there that's working, he's going to keep running it over and over again. And listen, if guys can't stop Tyrese Maxey downhill, like he's going to play him and he's going to keep running that play over and over again. And I like that about Doc, and you've seen that already in preseason. So, yeah, I'm going to go with 15 minutes a game.
What about you, Jason?
I actually went through this and threw in the minutes expectations in a spreadsheet, trying to figure out the balance where the minutes are. I came up with 14 minutes a game for him.
That's about it.
Awesome. We have a comment here. Tori Thompson 870. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe. Seeing Tyrell Terrell struggling, does that make you feel better about the Maxey pick? I mean, I graded this pick like an A-, I believe, during when it happened. I admit that I was a Tyrell Terry homer. He was my guy. This was my guy from like literally Tiago, like April. So yeah. This is preseason. Like let's be real. It's a super small sample size, and I don't think anybody should be shocked that Tyrell Terry is struggling out the gate. And that's credit. That's just so much more credit to this guy Tyrese Maxey for having like such a shortened off season, and boom, out the gate, he looks like he belongs. Any comments on that, Tiago?
Yeah, I mean, are you going to be okay, Chris?
I'll be fine. I am more than fine.
It was pretty eye-opening to watch the entire first round pass up on Tyrell Terry. And that was a massive red flag for me. I think that the NBA is very low on his potential, primarily because he's just not big enough. I mean, he's just not big enough, and I think he's going to find a hard time, getting a shot off of the NBA. You would think that playing alongside Luka would help, and obviously it's early in the preseason, but yeah, I would be very worried about those warning signs.
One comment that we had that was really interesting during our watch party a couple nights ago, or was it last night? Yeah, Friday night. Was Tyrese Maxey is the Markelle Fultz, who Markelle Fultz should have been. So let's play that card a little bit. You look at Markelle Fultz when he was 19. Tyrese Maxey just turned 20 in November. Fultz was 7 points in 14 games in 18 minutes. I'll set the over/under on points per game for Tyrese Maxey at 9.5. Tiago, over/under.
Wow, 9.5. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go with like 7.5 points a game. The Markelle comparisons are interesting because they're kind of like the same type of player. But Fultz, if you watched him at Washington, he had a deep understanding of the game that I don't see Maxey have today. Maybe that changes over the time, but he was one of the smartest players I had watched in that draft class. And it's a shame that things fell apart, but I think that from a body and a kind of style standpoint, they're the same. But Fultz was the next level thinker for me.
What about you, Jason?
I've got him at 7 points per game, so I'm an under on that. I think it's important to note that he's significantly physically smaller than Markelle Fultz. But his confidence level is head and shoulders above heading into the league, and confidence is huge.
Yeah.
And confidence can cut both ways. Like, not to bring up last night again, but Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball could probably, process a little humility. But Maxey seems to have that head's always up, not afraid to go into the teeth of the defense, but not taking wild ass shots. So,
And that was to Jason's point. Like, there's a good structure around him here. He doesn't have to come in and be like, that 25, 30 minute a game guy. And there's guys around him who can kind of, seem to get a little bit out of control. So he's in a good spot to develop, I think.
Do you see this guy potentially taking some minutes away from Furkan as the season progresses, Tiago?
I'm sorry, Chris, say that again.
Do you look at like Furkan Korkmaz? That guy played over 20 minutes a game. I'm trying to find how Tyrese Maxey gets incrementally more and more exposure running the pick and roll as part of that second unit. Like, is it like who's the odd man out? Is it Matisse? Is it Furkan? Like, who do you think does he take the minutes away from?
I think Doc loves Furkan, so I don't see Korkmaz leaving the rotation anytime soon, unless Jason sees it differently than I do. I think the guy right now who's a little bit, in the hot seat has to be Matisse.
Okay.
I think that, his game offensively has not progressed, but, it's too early to tell. So Thibault's the one that I would be thinking about.
That's like the one thing that like has really stood out this preseason. You look at how Matisse and Tyrese, how these two are just complete polar opposites in terms of attacking, and they're just the exact opposite of basketball player on offense. What about you, Jason? Is it Matisse that gets less minutes? Where are you going?
Yeah, I went through it. So Doc said he's going to have a 10-man rotation, and I don't have Thibault in that 10-man rotation right now. So I think Furkan is a much more reliable shooter. I've got Furkan at about 16 minutes per game, so probably less than last year. I haven't looked. So I think some of the minutes will come from Furkan. I don't think Seth Curry is going to play as many minutes as people think. I think he's going to be in that 25, 26 minutes per game. So you start to find the minutes for him in various ways, but for me, he's now in the 10-man rotation probably on most nights, and Thibault, just it's hard to see him in that 10-man. So unless there's a showcase situation early on, which there might be a showcase early in the year. It just the way that it shakes out, I'm trying to find 240 minutes,
right, and
spread it out amongst ball handlers, wings, and bigs, and it looks like it's coming from Thibault.
Tori says Fultz is going to lose.
Thibault's competition is also Terrence Ferguson. Don't forget about him. Like, they're the similar type of players, and I think
absolutely right.
Yeah. Steven says attitude is better than Fultz. This kid acts like he belongs. He does. I mean, that is the one thing that has been super impressive this preseason is that guy gets the ball and goes.
I don't think you can
breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I don't think you can underestimate the impact of Kentucky versus Washington. Washington is a place where you go to hide and put up numbers, and Kentucky, there is nowhere to hide. Everyone, you're the biggest game on every opponent's schedule. You are playing in front of, very excited fans every night. Washington, you are playing in front of a fairly disinterested crowd. And when you get to the NBA, Kentucky is just a much better preparation for that environment. It's far closer to a professional environment.
Awesome. Final thoughts, Tiago. Any last notes on Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Everything that we expected from college is shaking out. It's still early, but he's a guy who has high potential for this team, and I think that Sixers fans should be very excited to watch him here in the next couple of weeks for sure.
What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see if he continues to earn more and more minutes.
Yep.
How they manage, and I mentioned it yesterday or the day before. Shake Milton's ability to play off ball becomes key in clearing time for Maxey to get on the floor. The more that those two can play together, the more that those two can play with Ben Simmons in a 3-guard lineup, then the more you can just create more and more opportunities for Maxey. And the more he's on the floor, the faster he's going to develop. Clearly has a ton of upside. He's got a great base to work from. So I really hope they use the middle period of the schedule to just give him as much time to develop as possible. And let's see what we've got come playoff time. Is he a playoff player? Yeah. Playoffs are different. He's a rookie, but that would be fantastic. If you see him playing 10 minutes a game in the playoffs, you know that he's earned the coach's trust. So there's a lot to look forward to.
K Kirak says Maxey goes 0 to 100. Once he figures out how to go 0 to 50 to 30 to 100, he's going to be a major problem for defenders. I'm really excited for this kid. I literally made a video a couple of days ago on why all Sixers fans should be extremely hopeful and optimistic about 2021, and that was primarily built around the supporting cast, the second unit of Shake, Tyrese Maxey, and especially Dwight Howard. That pick and roll combination with Dwight as a roll man is going to be really fun to watch. It's an element that the Sixers haven't had in quite some time. Mark Bernstein, what's going on, dude? Says Matisse is recovering from injury and is behind other players. Is that true, Jason? Is he got an injury?
I mean, that is what Doc said.
Okay.
And he is coming off an injury, but I don't think that explains what you're seeing. The bones of this team are different. The architecture of the team is different.
Okay.
And he's going to have to be lights out from 3 to really make sense in a top 8, top 9, top 10 rotation.
We saw it in the playoffs. Like, he's just a 0 on offense, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. The original being says Tyrese gives me comparison between Derrick Rose and CJ McCollum. I think the comparison we were pretty much centered on was Jamal Murray. Tiago, what's your comparison for Tyrese Maxey?
I don't think Tyrese has that vertical step that D Rose has, to be honest. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Maybe he does. I'm not big on comps myself. I know that Cal comped a little bit to Jamal Murray and SGA. So I don't see the Jamal Murray. I see a little bit of the SGA comp to him. So I would go with him.
Jason, any players you would compare Tyrese Maxey to?
Well, and I've said this before, he has said that he wants to be like Drew Holiday or Jamal Murray. Those are his two North Stars. But to me, it's more De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, if he becomes any of the guys we're talking about, or even 90%, 85% of any of those guys, then they've gotten a steal at 21. We're talking about guys that were all top 5 picks, I think, right?
Yeah. Little shameless plug. My man Brock is actually working on a Tyrese Maxey video as we speak, and his comparison was De'Aaron Fox.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for that. Mark Bernstein says Maxey doesn't have D Rose's explosiveness pre-injury, but man, is he a crafty finisher. That is 100% fact. Jason, let's wrap it up. Anything you want to plug, man? Nope.
Just thanks to everyone for coming on a Sunday morning, NFL Sunday. It's 11 a.m. We've got all these comments. We've got all these people joining us. Thank you so much. Tell your friends. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. So thank you to everyone.
Thiago?
I like to plug my sanity because it's going to start losing it here in the next couple of weeks when the NBA starts. And I'm just joking. We're just, we put out a piece about the Bucks. I don't think they can be as good as people make them out to be. So go check that out. And, with the NBA starting, start writing out what we see as some of the trends with the NBA season.
Right around 3:30, we will be starting our Eagles versus Cardinals watch party. We'll be doing Eagles trivia. We'll be reacting. We'll be crying. We'll be laughing. It'll be a ton of fun. I promise you, if you join our watch parties, you will feel much better on Monday. I promise. That is a guarantee. Last up, we've got the Daily Dose starting tomorrow, Monday at 5. It's a brand new show. It's a call-in show. It'll be pretty much Monday through Friday. I think Wednesday the time might change a little bit, but 5 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, a call-in show. It's something new and fresh here at the Painted Lines YouTube channel. And I guess we will be live streaming pretty much every single Sixers game moving forward. So if you're watching the Sixers and you want to hear like instant analysis and reaction, join us. Please please subscribe. Thank you everybody here for commenting. So humble, so appreciative. Thank you. For Jason, for Thiago, for myself, thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.